Hello friends, welcome to Learning. My name is Dr. Ben. Today, we are going to learn some awesome stuff. Learning is for everyone. Let's make it fun and let's enjoy. Welcome to Basic Excel Training. Before I get started, allow me to give you a brief description of the Microsoft Excel 2019 application. In this module, I'm going to introduce you to Microsoft Excel 2019. What is Excel? According to Microsoft, Excel is a spreadsheet program that allows users to crunch numbers, organize, and calculate data. This application is also used to analyze and visualize data. Excel is not to be mistaken as a relational database, such as Access. A database is primarily developed for storing, retrieving, and managing large amounts of data with greater complexity and security. Excel does not have these underlying relational database qualities. Basic Excel Introduction, Module 1. In this module, I'm going to introduce you to Microsoft Excel 2019. We're going to begin by me demonstrating to you how to create and open workbooks. We'll also take a look at navigating in Excel. Let's take a look at the learning objectives for Module 1. At the end of this module, you will be able to create a new workbook, open an existing workbook, create a new workbook by using an existing workbook, and navigate through the Excel interface. Using your desktop computer, laptop, or mobile phone, go to your application's Start menu. My application Start menu is right here. Go ahead and click on that. Click on All. Arrow down to the E category where you should find your Excel application. Go ahead and click that. The application Excel window opens. Go ahead and click on the blank workbook icon. Your title bar should reflect the file name Book 1 Excel. You have just created your first Excel workbook. Congratulations. One of the fastest ways to actually do anything in Excel or any other Microsoft Office application is to use keyboard shortcuts. Let's examine this concept. Before we begin, ensure that one of the cells in Excel is activated. As you see here, my cell A1 is activated because I have a green border surrounding that cell. It's considered to be activated. To create a new workbook in Excel using shortcuts, hold down your Control key on your keyboard and depress the letter N on your keyboard. As you see, I've done so. Look at my File menu. It shows or reflects Book 2 Excel. This tells me that I have a new worksheet, a workbook actually. To open an existing workbook in Excel, you mainly would hit the Control key and press the letter O on your keyboard. Notice that my application window goes to the Open window in the backsplash or back page. I can now open any existing workbooks by looking at the Workbooks tab and here's one that I have opened earlier. Let's go back to that worksheet by clicking the back arrow. I have just demonstrated to you two popular shortcuts to open a new Excel workbook and to open an existing workbook. Let's dive right into the meat of the module. We're going to create a new workbook using a different approach. To create a new workbook, either use the shortcut feature, the Control plus the N key on your keyboard, or you can select File right here from your ribbon and New. In the New menu, as you can see, you can either select a blank workbook by selecting the blank workbook icon here, or you can use these wonderful templates that Microsoft provides for us. These templates are pretty good. They can save you a lot of time with content and design. I want you to be bold, be brave. Try them out after our lesson. Let's arrow back to that open or worksheet. To open an existing workbook, select the Control plus O shortcut or go to File in your application ribbon and Open. Click the Open icon. You're back again at that open window as we saw before. Depending on where your workbook is stored, you may be able to open it from the recent file right here or from the PC, this PC. When you click this PC, it opens up to items in your documentation folder. Or you can open it through a browse. You browse through your C drive or your drive where you're storing your Microsoft applications. You can also open your Windows, let's go back up here to Recent, to a Workbook tab. I have one saved already. Or if you have folders, you can go to your Folders tab and choose where you have stored that particular workbook. So as you can see, there's a variety of windows and buttons you can select to open your recent or existing workbook. Let's take a look at creating a new workbook by using an existing workbook. After you have located your workbook, right-click on that workbook. I've located my workbook here called Book 1 in my Workbooks tab. I'm right-clicking onto my workbook. From the context menu, select Open a Copy. This action opens your workbook as a copy. This practice is very helpful when you do not wish to edit an original workbook. You can tell the workbook is a copy by looking at the file name in the title bar, which is located above your ribbon right here. Notice the file name has the number 1 after it. Always take note of the file name before making edits and saving the file as a copy. It's time for a knowledge check. Attempt to answer the questions presented. You may pause the video after each question to review. Return to the lesson when you are ready. The answers to each question will be displayed a few seconds after the reading of the question. Let's begin. Read the question and answer. In Excel, what shortcut key can you use to open an existing workbook? A. Alt plus O. B. Control plus O. C. Shift plus O. D. Control plus Shift plus O. Select your answer. The answer is B, Control plus O. In Excel, after locating a workbook, what steps would you take to create a new workbook from an existing workbook? A. Left-click on the chosen workbook and select Open a Copy from the context menu. B. Right-click on the chosen workbook and select Open a Copy from the context menu. C. Left-click on the chosen workbook and select Open from the context menu. D. Right-click on the chosen workbook and select Open from the context menu. Select your answer. The answer is B. Right-click on the chosen workbook and select Open a Copy from the context menu. In Excel, how can you determine if you have created a new workbook from an existing workbook? A. In the title bar, look for a number after the file name. B. In the title bar, look for an alphanumeric character. C. In the title bar, look for a symbol after the file name. D. In the title bar, look for a $sign after the file name. Select your answer. The answer is A. In the title bar, look for a number after the file name. Let's take a look at some Excel trivia. Did you know there are 1,048,576 rows and 16,384 columns in a standard Excel workbook? That's a mammoth 17,179,869,184 cells. Pretty amazing. Let's take a break and return when you are ready. Welcome back. Let's continue getting to know Excel with learning about the Excel interface. I'm going to take you on a brief journey through Excel's interface. Hold on and let's go for the ride. When you open Excel, you are prompted with a screen to either create a new file, which is the blank workbook here, or create new files through the templates right here. Or you can open an existing file. You can also take a look at the Microsoft Excel tutorials. Let's click the icon blank workbook. Double click that. At the top of the application, we have what's called the second row, a ribbon. This is our first row, called the title bar, and this is our second row called the ribbon. The ribbon contains several tabs or is home to several tabs. These tabs are the File tab, Home, Insert, Draw, Page Layout, Formulas, Data, Review, View, and Help. Your ribbon may have different tabs. Each tab contains commands assembled together that are called logical groups. For example, in the Home tab, a logical group is in the Clipboard section here. This clipboard contains the Format Painter, Copy, and Cut. Another logical group is the Font logical group. It contains all the items referencing a font. We can bold a font, italicize a font, underline a font, and click the down arrow, you have double underline as well. You can change the font type, anything you want there that's available, and you can change the font size. We can also change the background color of a font and the color of a font. These are called the logical groups right here. Each tab has its own logical group. In the File tab, when you click on that File tab, select that. Notice it does not display a ribbon, such as the other tabs. Instead, it shows a panel right here on the left side of the application. It includes commands such as the Home command, New, Open, Info, Save, Save As, Print, Share, Export, Close, Account, and Options. This panel area is referred to as the Backstage view. I want you to think of the Backstage view as pulling a curtain's drawstrings or cords to see what's going on behind the workbook. To return to the workbook sheet, you select either the arrow, the back arrow here, or the escape button on your keyboard. That's ESC. We're going to go over this Backstage view shortly. Let's go ahead and click that back arrow or the escape button on your keyboard. Directly above the ribbon is the title bar. In that title bar, we have in the upper left-hand corner right here a save icon. The save icon allows you to save your data as you're moving through your worksheets. It's a good idea to save your data often and not lose it. Also notice as I'm hovering over the save icon, we have a shortcut key, Control S. You can either click on the save icon or Control S on your keyboard. Next to the save icon right here, we have an undo typing and redo typing icons. These two icons are activated once you type data into a cell. I have cell A1 activated here. I'm going to type in some data. Notice the two icons are now displayed. If I hover over the undo icon, I have a Control Z as my shortcut key. To redo that item in your cell, it's a redo typing. Control Y is a shortcut. Let's go ahead and toy with this undo and redo typing icons. I'm going to click into my cell A1. I have the 11 here. I'm going to change that to reflect 55 and click out. You know what? I want to go back to that 11. I'm going to go up here to my undo typing, click it, and I'm back at that 11. You know what? I just changed my mind. I want the 55 back again. I'm going to go over here to redo typing, and there's my 55. These are your undo and redo icons. Now, in the center of your title bar, you have the workbook file name. Our file name is Book 1. To the left of the upper right-hand corner of the title bar, we have the icon that illustrates who is signed into the application. When you sign into the application, your initials appear right here. Next to the sign in, we find the ribbon display options. There are 3 options that you can select to hide or collapse the ribbon depending on your project. Let's examine these options. The Auto Hide ribbon hides the ribbon. Select Auto Hide to collapse the ribbon. To display the ribbon for a quick view or to access the commands, simply select the More command, which is the ellipsis right here, or the 3 dots. You can either select that or select the Alt key on your keyboard, right here. Notice that this is temporarily. If I click into my grid, the commands are gone. I'm going to go back up here on my ellipsis to open it up. To fully restore the show ribbon and commands to maintain that, go ahead and click on the options again and click on Show tab and Commands. Now we have the commands available for all time. The Show tab command shows the ribbon tab only. You can select a tab to show the commands. Let's check it out. Show tabs. As you see here, it collapsed the commands. To see the commands, you must click on each tab. Go back, Home, go down, Insert. See what's happening here? It shows each command independently. Let's go back to our display options, Show tabs and commands. There we go. Now our tabs and commands are fully shown here and they're stable. Quick note here. If you double click on any tab labeled twice, the ribbon will automatically hide. Let's check it out. The ribbon's hidden. Double click again to show the full tabs and the commands. There we go. The commands minimize, restore, and close are used to manage the size of the screen. By double-clicking in the title bar, it shrinks the screen. To restore it, double-click again. The minimize command is used when you are working on something in the background and you want to minimize the Excel spreadsheet. Click minimize, work on your documentation, going back down to my toolbar, clicking Excel, and you're bringing it back up. The restore function or command, if I'm working on something in the background and I'm minimizing or shrinking my screen, I want to restore it, click restore. The X up here, be very careful of this. This closes not only the sheet, but the application overall. Make sure that your items are saved before you click close. Let's return to the upper left-hand corner above that ribbon once again. In the upper left-hand corner above the ribbon is the Quick Access toolbar. The Quick Access toolbar can be displayed above or below the ribbon and can be customized to your needs. Now, we've talked about these 3 items already right here in the title bar, which is in the Quick Access toolbar. We'll learn more about this in other lessons. By default, the Quick Access toolbar will display an autosave feature, which is found in later versions of Excel, the save command, undo command, and the redo command. And there's also a drop-down menu available. Selecting the drop-down menu allows you to customize your Quick Access toolbar. We can customize it by adding in a new command, open, email, and so on. Let's click on the email command. And there you have your email. Clicking the drop down again allows you to also select more commands. Here are a variety of commands you may check off and move to your quick access toolbar. I highly recommend you go through here after the lesson and just play with this. Get familiarized with this. Clicking cancel. I'm moving back down. I'm going to delete that email function there. I'm back at my quick access toolbar once again. Let's take a look at the search function. The search function is also known as tell me what you want to do. You can search for commands, get insights from internet, or anything you want that pertains to Excel. Let's see, I want to look at my email. Here it gives me some information about an email recipient, and I'll click on that and it brings up some data on an email attachment or something about the email. And this is on Outlook 2016. Click cancel. Yes. Okay. So tell me what to do allows you to search the Excel spreadsheet for a variety of actions that you want to take care of. Below the ribbon, we have a name box and a formula bar. We will learn more about these in future modules. At the bottom of this worksheet, right here, you will find Sheet tabs. The default sheet names are Sheet 1 and maybe Sheet 2, and so on. Next to the sheet names is a New Sheet button. It's right here, a little plus sign. This adds extra sheets as necessary. When I click on it, another sheet appears, and so on. To the right of the screen, there is a vertical scroll bar right here, and on the bottom, a horizontal scroll bar right here to help you scroll through the worksheet. Finally, underneath the horizontal scroll bar, there is a display setting with 3 screen views: a normal screen view, a page layout screen view, and a page break screen view. You will also find next to these a zoom slider bar. This allows you to increase or decrease the size of the worksheet that is displayed on your screen. Right now we're looking at 100%. I'm going to zoom out on this bad boy. 110, 130, and let's go back to 100%. At this point, let's take a look at exploring the ribbon. If you are a newcomer to Excel 2019, welcome aboard. Take a few minutes to check each tab in the ribbon. As you observe the groups and tools in a ribbon, go back and review the ribbon tab name. There is a correlation between the name of the tab and the tools it holds. For example, in the Insert tab we see here, it contains many tools to insert something into a worksheet. For example, we can insert a picture, shapes, charts, maps, a timeline, or maybe a link. Let's examine each tab description, beginning with the File tab. If you recall, this File tab we said earlier was considered to be a backstage view. The backstage view allows us to access and manage the application and workbook settings. These items you see here are called commands. The first one is the Home command, which is highlighted. It shows us the ability to create a blank workbook. Allows us to view certain tutorials. It also allows us to take a look at any recent books that we've created. The New command allows us to create a brand new workbook. It also allows us to search online for templates. Here as well, we can take a look at the tutorials provided by Microsoft and also look at the predefined templates. The open command allows us to open a workbook from a variety of locations. The info command allows us to protect a workbook, inspect a workbook, manage a workbook, and browse through other options. This info command also has the ability for us to look at the properties involved in this workbook, related dates, and related people, the authors, those who created the workbook, and the modified date of the workbook. The Save As command, as we discussed in an earlier module, allows us to save the workbook to a particular location. The Print command. The Print command allows us to print a workbook from a PDF or as a PDF, or basically printing out from a particular printer. The settings allows us to change the settings of the worksheet itself to fit our needs, such as landscaping. I want to change that to a portrait. I go here and change to a portrait orientation. It's now a portrait. The Share command. The Share command allows us to share our workbook through email or by a cloud with other individuals. The Export command. The Export command allows us to export the workbook as a PDF document. We can also change the file types right here and save as a file type. The Close command, which I would not select, will close our workbook. Recall what I mentioned earlier. When you close a workbook, ensure that you have saved your information. The Account command provides information about your particular Excel application. The Options command. The Options command are Excel options, which provides you with a variety of user interface options, information about your formulas, the data concerning your Excel spreadsheet, proofreading, spell check, and so on. When you have time after this module, take a look at these Excel options and take a look at that and review them. Moving on to the Home tab. The Home tab houses popular tools and commands that are used the most. I will say this. The most items used by many individuals are the clipboard, the fonts. The font allows us to go through and change the font to a bold or italicize a font, underline it, change the font type, arrow down, change the font sizing, maybe a font color, or maybe it changes the border information. For example, I'm going to add a border here. Highlight this, go to my Borders tab, arrow down, click all borders, and now I have a border for this piece of information here. I can also go through and add or change the font colors, make those red, and then bold them, which is already bolded. This insert or this home also has the ability to go through and align the different cell information, change the numbers, insert, delete, or format different cells. Let's take a look at the Insert. In the Insert tab allows us to add objects and elements into the worksheet, such as pictures and shapes, tables, charts, and so on. I'm going to add in a chart to this particular worksheet by highlighting my data. I'm going to select recommended charts. It's going to recommend this chart right here, the cluster chart. And I now have a chart that matches my data. And it all comes from the Insert tab. The Draw tab. The Draw tab allows me to make notes with a digital pen. These here are the digital pens right here. I can change the actual, let's see if it gives it to me. I can add a pen, add a shape. Well, it's not responding now, so, ooh. There we go. Add a pen, pencil, or highlighter. I can add that. And I also can go through and convert ink to a shape and convert ink to math. All with the Draw. On the Page Layout tab, the page layout allows me to change my margin, change my themes. The Microsoft Excel comes with an Office theme color. You can change your theme as you deem necessary for your project. I can change my orientation once again from here to portrait or landscape. I can change my background, add grid lines or take away grid lines, and so on. Our next tab is the Formulas tab. The Formulas tab is basically used to create functions and define names, audit formulas, and set calculation options. The Data tab. The Data tab allows us to get data from other sources. I can get data from right here in this drop down from all these source information, pick it up from there. CSV files, I can get a table range and so on. I can also create queries, sort and filter from this particular tab. The Review tab. The Review tab allows us to perform proofing right here, spell check, using our thesaurus, track changes. I can protect my worksheet and protect my workbook. By that, I can give my workbook to someone else, but they can't change it because I protected it. The View tab allows us to go through and manage and modify our workbook views. I can zoom in and zoom out. There we go. I can zoom in to 200%. And yeah, I can also zoom back to 100% or 75, whichever is better for me. And the help allows us to contact Microsoft Excel by phone. I can check it out here, access help from here, provide Microsoft with feedback, and give them any information about what's happening to my Excel product. I do encourage you to go through, once again, check out the groups, check out the tabs, and just enjoy it. It's time for a knowledge check. Let's do that. Knowledge check. Attempt to answer the questions presented. You may pause the video after each question to review. Return to the lesson when you are ready. The answers to each question will be displayed a few seconds after the reading of the question and possible answers. Let's begin. Read the questions and answer. In Excel, how many options are available in the ribbon display option to hide or collapse the ribbon? A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, D, 4. The answer is C, 3. In Excel, what is another name for the Backstage view? A, Home, B, Insert, C, File, D, Data. The answer is C, File. True or false? The Quick Access toolbar can be displayed above or below the ribbon. A, true, B, false. The answer is A, true. It's time to practice what you have learned. After practicing, take a break and return when you are ready. Welcome back. We are currently in Lesson 1, Module 2. In this module, we will take a look at entering and editing data in Excel. Our objectives for Module 2 are as follows. At the end of this module, you will be able to enter and edit data in a workbook. You will also be able to save a workbook in various formats. In Excel, each row and column are contained in what is called a grid structure. Let's explore this grid structure by examining the Delicious Donut Inventory worksheet. Each cell in this grid structure is identified by a unique letter or number. The unique letter is in a column right here. The unique number is a row number right here. The intersection of each column and row identifies what is called a cell or cells. The rows are the horizontal part of the cells and the columns are the vertical part of the cells. Recall that the rows are identified by numbers and the columns are identified by letters. Let's discuss two keyboard shortcuts that will assist you in navigating Excel rows and columns. Watch closely as I demonstrate using the Delicious Donut Inventory worksheet. On your keyboard, press the Control and down arrow to go to the last row of data table or the last row of the sheet if there are any empty cells in the data table. I will place my cursor here on, let's say, A2, A3. I'm pressing my Control key on my keyboard plus my down arrow on my keyboard, and look what happens. I go down to the last row of the actual table. I press it again and it takes me down to the last row of the sheet. Pressing the Control up arrow on my keyboard and it takes me back to that table that I was in earlier. And you see it landed in the last part of that table or last row of that table. In A6, as you see here, I'm on South 4. I'm going to press my Control right arrow on my keyboard. I land in K6, which is the last what? The last column of a data table, my data table. Pressing it again takes me to the last column on the worksheet. Pressing Control left arrow takes me back to the last cell on my data table. I'm going to open a new workbook by hitting File and New Workbook or Blank Workbook. Follow along with me as I demonstrate entering and editing data. Click into cell A1 and enter the number 20. Depress the Enter key on your keyboard. This moves you to the next row and locks in your data. You can also use the Tab key on your keyboard to lock in your data. This Tab key moves the cursor to the adjacent cell. Let's try this out. My cursor is now returned to cell A1. I'm tabbing into the next cell, B1. To return to cell A1, or to the left of a cell, depress the Shift and the Tab key on your keyboard. The Shift and Tab key. I am now back in cell A1. Let's navigate this sheet by using our 4 directional keys on our keyboard. I would like for you to locate the 4 directional keys on your keyboard. We will use these keys to navigate through our worksheet. Click into cell G2 and enter the number 30. Depress your right navigational arrow on your keyboard. This locks in your data in that cell. Continue clicking that right navigational key. Look what happens. It takes you to the right. Click the left. It takes you to the left. Clicking back to the right, left, down, and the up arrow. You can use these arrows to navigate your way through your worksheet, or you may continue using your mouse and dragging your key cursor through different cells through this function. To edit a cell, let's select cell A1. Double-click into the cell to activate the cursor and begin your editing. Notice my cursor is activated. It is before the data. You can also edit a cell by selecting the cell and clicking into the formula bar to begin your edit. Let's click out of here. Clicking back into cell A1, I can move directly to my formula bar, and notice my cursor is behind the 0. I can edit that right there. Or go back with the back arrow and add some new numbers. Clicking edit, enter, and I'm out. Another option you can select is for editing is selecting a function key on your keyboard. This action places the cursor to the far right of your data for editing. Clicking back into A1, I'm selecting a function key on my keyboard and F2. Notice that my cursor is on the right side of my data. I'm now ready for editing. To cancel a cell entry, select the Escape button on your keyboard before completing the entry. Or you can select the Cancel button, X, which is next to the formula bar right here in this red X. So I'm going to click that Escape key on my keyboard. Notice the blinking arrow or blinking cursor is gone. Let's bring it back. Function F2. The cursor's back. I'm going to click Cancel right here. It's gone. I've now canceled that cell entry. To clear contents, you can access the Context menu by right-clicking on a cell and selecting Clear Contents. Right-clicking brings up my Context menu. Hit Clear Context, and I'm done. Let's put that back by hitting the Undo button. There we go. I can also use the Delete key on my keyboard to delete the data in my cell. I'm using my Delete key on my keyboard. Delete it. Hit Undo to bring it back. One big note here. If you do select the Delete option from your context menu, be very careful. I want to add some data here on my keyboard, on my spreadsheet, I'm sorry. In cell B2, I'm going to put in, let's see, I'm going to type some number, 40. Cell C2, 50. D2, let's say 60. And click out. Okay, I want to delete my cell C2 data. Right click. I can do the clear contents. I can also use the delete. Here's the dilemma. When you use that delete function, click there, look what happens. Excel gives you a choice. Shift cells to the left shift cells up, delete an entire row, or delete an entire column. Be careful when you use this particular function. It's defaulted to shift cells to the left. Look what happens when you click this. I'm clicking OK. Notice all of my data has shifted to the left. My cells in C and cells D2 has shifted to C2. My cell here, 30, that was in G2, has now shifted over to F2. So it shifts all of your data over to that empty cell. Let's go ahead and click undo. See, there you go. The cell C2, 50 is back. My cell in cell G2, 30 is returned. And it shows you. Be careful when using that function. You don't want to shift your large amount of data you may have on your cell into one cell or shifting it to the left. Be very careful. Use your undo and redo button as often as you can to keep your data intact. Let's now discuss saving a new and existing workbook. When you begin creating your workbook and worksheets, it is wise to save the document. You can save a document to either an online location or locally to your computer. To save a new workbook, go to File and select Save As. We're going to go to File and Save As. From here, check the file name and the location to store your workbook. I'm going to save mine to my desktop by going to Browse and then selecting Desktop. Notice my file name appears as Book 1, which was that default file I had earlier. I'm going to change that to reflect, let's say, my workbook. Notice I'm typing every letter or word in what's called camel case. That way I can take a look and see what the file looks like. My is one word and workbook is a second word. That second word I'm saving as a capital letter. W for workbook is called camel casing. Saving each word with a capital letter. It makes your file easier to review or to find. So I'm going to save mine to my desktop as I mentioned earlier. And guess what? A workbook can have up to 218 characters in the file name. I select my name and I hit the word save on my save button here. And my file is now saved to my desktop, and notice the file name here is my workbook has been saved. To save an existing workbook, select File and Save As. And the same applies. You can save the file to browse to my desktop, or you can go to Favorites and choose Desktop from here, or any other file you may want to save this in. Check your location and change your file name as needed. Let's go back to the worksheet. I can use let's say my save button up here. I have my workbook as my file name, and I want to save this as I'm going through my document, saving it. I don't always have to go to File. I can click here, click my Save button, and it'll save it in this work file name. If I wanted to save it any other method, I can hit Function F12. Function and F12. It'll bring up the dialog box to Save As. I can change my file name here and save it wherever I want. That's just another way of saving your file. You can also save this existing workbook as a PDF or some other type of format document by clicking the Save As type right here. Select the down arrow and select any one of these other areas that are extensions that you want to save the file as, and save it to the location of your choice. Let's save this, for example, as a PDF, and I want to save this on my desktop. It's there, and I want to click save. And notice I get this little dialog box that comes up saying, hey, select an app to open this file. I'm going to say just once, open as an Adobe Acrobat. Just once. And it brings up my Adobe Acrobat. And there's my worksheet, saved as a PDF. It's time once again for a knowledge check. Attempt to answer the questions presented. You may pause the video after each question to review. Return to the lesson when you are ready. The answers to each question will be displayed a few seconds after the reading of the question and possible answers. Let's begin. Read the questions and answers. Select the two answers that may apply. In Excel, what are the two best methods to cancel a cell entry? A. Select Escape on your keyboard before completing an entry. B. Select Control S. C. Select the Cancel button, the X, next to the formula bar before completing an entry. D. Select Control W. The answers are A. Select Escape on your keyboard before completing an entry, and C. Select the Cancel button, X, next to the formula bar before completing an entry. In Excel, after entering data into a cell of your choice, selecting Enter will perform which action? A. Moves you to an adjacent row. B. Moves you to the row below your entered data. C. Moves you to the row above your entered data. D. Nothing will happen. The answer is B. Moves you to the row below your entered data. Excel trivia. Did you know you can undo or redo up to 100 actions even after a file has been saved? It's time to practice what you have learned. After practicing, take a break and return when you are ready. In this module, I will show you how to navigate to named cells, ranges, and other workbook objects. I will also demonstrate how to search for data and use Autofill to automatically fill cell contents. You know, there may be times where you will receive a workbook that may contain special formatting, formulas, named ranges, named cells, or even named tables. These objects may not be obvious to you when you first look at the worksheet. Being able to familiarize yourself with everything that a workbook contains will help save time and also will help you understand the data within the workbook so much better. Let's begin. Let's talk about those objectives. At the end of this module, you will be able to navigate to named cells, ranges, or workbook elements, search for data, and utilize the autofill feature. In Excel, every cell has a unique reference, such as cells A1, which is right here, B1, and C1, and so on. I am going to show you how to quickly go to named cells and ranges by using the name box and the go-to command in Excel. The go-to command can also highlight workbook elements such as formulas and conditional formatting. We will briefly look at these elements and discuss further in future modules. In the name box, you can enter any name of any cell and jump to that cell. For example, I am going to type the word employee in cell L4. Let's see, employee. I can go to my name box and type in the characters of L4 and press enter. But before I do that, let's just take a look at this here. Name box is right here. Clicking my down arrow, nothing's there. I can type in L4 and watch. Click enter. I jump right to that cell. But I want to give that cell a name. So I'm going to go to my name box, being that my cell, active cell, is highlighted here, L4, I'm going to type in the word employee. I'm clicking my return key or hitting my return key. Now I have the name employee in my name box. I'm going to click out of that cell, go to my name box, drop down, there it is, employee. And I jump right to it in Excel. This feature comes in handy when you have a large data set to play with and you want to look up certain formulas. For example, I have 3 formulas here already saved for you that we're going to discuss and talk about. Formula 1, I'm summing D1 through E1 right here. Let's go ahead and add some values here so we can see what this looks like. Let's say 5. Let's say 5. Click out. My formula is 10. 5 plus 5 equals 10. I'm going to click, or I need to jump to this formula, so I need to give it a name. Clicking into that, I'm going to call this formula 1. Notice that I'm using an underscore before the letter or the number 1. The name box will not take spaces in your name, so use either an underscore or a camel casing. Clicking enter, I've now named that formula Formula 1. The next formula here is Formula 2. And where is this? This formula is in H1 and I1. And so H1 is down here. Let's say 4, 4, enter, and it's an 8. I'm going to name this formula Formula 2. And of course, you will give this a more substantial name when you get into it in your worksheet. The third formula here, C18 through E18. I have C. I'm going down to 18. Let's just keep it simple. 1, 1, 1. Okay, E18. I'm going to label this one formula underscore 3. Clicking enter. It's there. Okay, so I'm looking at this workbook here and I say, hey, a worksheet actually. And I say to myself, what are these formulas here? What's going on? I need to get to formula 3. I know what that is. I click my down arrow in my name box. I can hit formula 2. Jump right to it, or formula 3 as I mentioned earlier, and jump right to it. Formula 1, go right there, and I can change that formula if I need to. So remember, this is going to be a good exercise for you when you have a large set of data and you have a variety of formulas you're using, and you can provide a substantial name versus formula 1 to get to that formula later on. This is going to be very beneficial for you. So moving back in that name box, let's say that I want to change these names or delete these names. Now I can have to do this. I can then go to Formulas tab, down to my manager name or name manager, and here you go. Here are the names of your items. I can click on the name and delete it with this delete button up here. Dialog box pops up. Are you sure? Say yeah. Okay. If I want to delete the range, select that Formula 1, hit my Shift key, and then Formula 3. I can delete the entire range. And close. Now I come back to my sheet here, going up to the name box, it's empty. So that's how you delete those items from your name box. So when you get a chance after the module, go through here and just play with it. See what you come up with. Let's take a look at searching for data. Searching for data in Excel. Imagine you've just received a huge Excel worksheet full of data and your boss is asking for a certain piece of data. How would you find it? Excel has just a command for finding data. It's called Find and Select. To find data in a worksheet, from the Home tab, we're going to navigate over to the Find and Select tab in the editing group, or item in the editing group. It's right here. From that, here we go. Find and Select. You can also find and select this animal here by using the shortcut keys Control plus F. Control plus F. I want to find some data. Clicking the Find area here, it's going to pop up with this Find and Replace dialog box. I want to find the employee, the name employee. Here we go. Hit my Find Next, and the cells is highlighted with the word around the word employee. To find next, it's done. I'm clicking my Find All. If I want to find everything that has the word employee in it, click Find All, and it provides for me this cell here of all the items that we have in the workbook with the name employee. So far we have just one. And you click on that, it'll take you to that cell. Pretty nifty, huh? So I'm clicking out of this by hitting Close. And my next item here is, hey, I want to look at replacing that employee with another name. Same thing. I go to Find and Select and Replace. It's actually the same box you had earlier. These tabs up here, just play with it. Go back to Find, go to Replace. I'm going to find my employee. I want to find the word employee and replace it with the word personnel. Hit Find Next. Oops. I'm sorry. Hit Replace, and there you see it. It's replaced with the word personnel. I want to find all. It said I don't have any more, so we're fine. And then I hit Close. If I want to go back and change that from personnel back to employee, where would I go? You're right. Right here. Undo. Undo my actions right there. Wonderful. Also, I can go back now to that Find and Select item in my editing area. I want to look for formulas. This sheet has some kind of formulas in it. How can I find them? I can't just see what they are. I go to Formulas, and there we have it. Notice that the formulas are shaded here. It's telling you I have a formula here in sum. D1 through E1 is a formula. H1, I1 is a formula. And C18 through E18 is a formula. So as you see here, this Find and Select can be very, very helpful for you. Now let's take a look at the Autofill feature here in Excel. The Autofill feature allows you to copy entries from an active cell to adjacent cells sequentially or by repeating the entry. For example, if you enter the months of the year, you can use Autofill to complete the remaining months or days. Let's get started here. In cell O2, let's say O2, I'm going to enter in, let's say, versus the months of the year. I'm going to enter days. Monday. Positioning my pointer now, right here, I should get a cross right here on the lower right-hand corner of the cell. I'm moving it down, and notice my days are starting to form on my right side. I want to go all the way down to Sunday. It fills all the way to Sunday. Release, and there you have it. Clicking the little box here to autofill options, clicking my down arrow, my fill series has been selected. You have a variety of items here to choose from, but I want to choose fill series to give me that Monday through Sunday action. To use the autofill using the fill command, select the range you want to fill to include the cell to copy on that worksheet. For example, I want to use my fill command here in the editing deal. I also want to highlight it first. It's going to copy some items for me. I want to copy the word Monday straight across. Monday. And now I'm going to select this and select a certain range here. Going to hit fill up here and to the right. There we go. It copies it all the way over to the right. That's your autofill. Now, we've done the autofills. Let's take a look at filling a sequential number pattern. I have a 1 through 20 I want to select here, or actually fill in. 1. Remember, taking our crossbar, lower right hand corner, going all the way down. Let's see, right here. Wow, it gives me all the ones, but I don't want all the ones. I want this to be sequential. Hitting my autofill options, down arrow, fill the series. It gives me 12. Now I'm going to add on some more here. Notice that on the right side, it now knows what I want to do, is adding those numbers for me. I want 20. There we go. So this is going to come in very handy for you. We talked about the autofill feature. We've discussed the find feature. And we're searching for data. And we also navigated cell ranges and so on by using the name bar, or the name box actually. Let's go ahead and discuss that go-to command. In the go-to command, we simply go back to Home tab, our editing category, find and select, and go to. The go to comes up with a dialog box, go to, and I can simply take this box and select the different areas or cells I want to go to. Cell B9. There you go. I went to cell B9. Select it again. Go to. I want to go to cell B6. It goes right there. Something special here. Go to special. It brings up the go to special dialog box. This box allows me to go to anywhere that I want that has these pieces of data outlined here from your radio box or your radio buttons. I want to hit the formulas to find out what formulas I have in this spreadsheet. I'm clicking OK. Notice in that go to command, it allows me by clicking the functions to see what functions are available for me in this spreadsheet. Pretty nifty, huh? That's select and find, or find and select, the go to special, clicking on formulas, and then OK. So it's time once again for a knowledge check. Attempt to answer the questions presented. You may pause the video after each question to review. Return to the lesson when you are ready. The answers to each question will be displayed a few seconds after the reading of the question and possible answers. Let's begin. Read the questions and answer. In Excel, what is the main purpose of the name box? A. Allows you to name a cell. B. Allows you to jump to named cells and ranges. C. Allows you to add color to a cell. D. Allows you to capitalize text in a cell. The answer is B. Allows you to jump to named cells and ranges. In Excel, this feature allows you to find data quickly and easily. A. Find and select. B. Find and seize. C. Find and solve. D. Find and stay. The answer is A. Find and select. In Excel, this feature allows you to copy entries from an active cell to adjacent cells sequentially or by repeating the entry. A. Autocomplete. B. Autofill. C. Autodelete. D. Auto-add. The answer is B. Autofill. This is the end of Basic Excel Training Lesson 1, Introduction into Excel. What did we learn? In this Lesson 1, Modules 1 through 3, we discussed how to create a new workbook, open an existing workbook, create a new workbook by using an existing workbook, navigate through the Excel interface, enter and edit data in a workbook, save a workbook in various formats, navigate to named cells, ranges, or workbook elements, search for data, and utilize the Auto feature. Please check back for Basic Excel Training Lesson 2, Managing Worksheets and Workbooks. Thank you for spending time with me today. I challenge you to practice what you have learned so far. See you soon.